So obviously we know that the church is involved. They have really tried in the past to make their involvement look like it's grassroots involvement. That is historically, since at least since the Equal Rights Amendment, that they have really tried to get members involved and get them going and say, look, and go write your legislature, and all of a sudden legislators, assemblymen, senators are flooded with letters, and they have no idea where it came from. There was an example of this happened with the Pepperdine University, the first ad that was pro-Prop 8. Some of the alumni from Pepperdine wrote in and were upset that their school was being used as part of this approved Proposition 8, and they really castigated some of the folks that were there. As a result, PR people in Southern California for the church sent out an email and said, hey guys, our folks are being really castigated by the alumni. Write in and tell them how much you support. Well, they got so many emails sent in to Pepperdine administrators that shut down their email programmers for a while. They had no idea what was going on. So they got word of the fact that this was a PR thing and that it was started by these grassroots people in Southern California, and lo and behold, they were able to contact the PR person for the church, the public affairs, the local public affairs person, and that public affairs person said, okay folks, we did it, stop sending emails. The email stopped. It was a miracle. So as we go through, I'll talk a little bit about the history. These are some of the key players that we have seen over and over and over again in this same-sex marriage amendment information. Lawrence C. Dunn, he was a member, part of the 70 back in Prop 22 days. Russell Ballard, as you all know, Neil M. Maxwell, Nellie Jokes, Richard B. Brooklyn. Lynn Wardle, he is a BYU professor at law. He was involved in some of the stuff in Hawaii early on. Lawrence Research and Gary Lawrence, you're all familiar with Gary Lawrence. He was actually paid $3,500 for his company was paid $3,500 to do surveying when Hawaii was going through its same-sex marriage questions back in 1996, 97. Richard Worthland's research company also was involved in that and actually was paid significant, 10 or 15 times more than that. Ken Starr, he has been involved. Go ahead and go to the next slide.
What about Lance Wickman?
Lance Wickman is another name that we hear very regularly. He was involved in Proposition 22, and I'm gonna, at the end of this, this is a timeline that we put together. It's about 20 pages long, and so we're gonna kind of go through some of that timeline stuff, and there's gonna be some links here, and if the timeline is footnoted, in the interest of time, we probably won't spend a lot of time looking at the timeline points, but you're more than welcome to go to any several websites that there will be on this slide listing later on. So just to compare, 4.6 million people voted yes on Proposition 22, and 4.9 million people voted no on Proposition 8. So if you look at the numbers, there are more people who voted against Proposition 8 than who voted for Prop 22. Various groups tried to get, ever since Proposition 22 passed, lots of groups have been trying to get this constitutional amendment on the ballot because they knew that as long as it was not part of the Constitution, it was going to be an issue. So they over and over and over and over and over again, every single time. There's like 5 or 6 proposed Proposition 8 wannabes. Even in this most recent election when Proposition 8 passed, there was a similar amendment, there was a similar proposition that was going through that would have stripped the domestic partnerships completely away. But that didn't get enough signatures, and Proposition 8 amendment did get enough signatures, so that went through. Go ahead and next one. This is a little bit of information about the donations to each of the campaigns. So you can see there were actually 2 committees that collected money for each proposition. In Proposition 22, the average donation for the Yes on 22 group, that was the group that the Mormons donated to primarily. The average donation on that was $451.08. The Protected Marriage Coalition, that's the one that the Mormons donated to for Proposition 8. The average donation was $815.36. For the Defense of Marriage Committee in Prop 22 was the smaller Prop 22 committee. A few Mormons donated to that, but mostly Mormons were donating to the other one. So that was $170. And then the National Organization for Marriage California had a higher average donation, but they had a lot fewer donors. They had a lot of institutional donors for that one. The median amount is the amount that half of the donations were above that amount and half the donations were below that amount. So you can see that the median in Prop 22 is a little bit higher than Prop 8. And then in all of them, the most commonly donated amount was $100. So in Prop 22, there were 9,200 donations, and in Prop 8, there were almost 46,000 donations to ProtectMarriage.com. When they first issued their donation report and submitted it to the Secretary of State, it knocked the Secretary of State's computers down, and it took them about 3 days to get that information up and published as per California law requirement. This is just, the next couple slides are going to show the differences between votes for Prop 22 and votes for Prop 8. So here we have in green the people who voted for Prop 22, and go ahead to the next one. This is the people who voted for Prop 8. The purple counties are the ones who voted against Proposition 8, so it lost all along the coast. It lost in Los Angeles County, it lost in, I can't remember which those are, but they're up by top of. Okay, next, Prop 22. The bigger the circle, the greater the margin of the difference between yes and no. So we've got a great big huge circle. Now watch, this is Prop 22, now do Prop 8. So the difference is shifted a little bit. In some places, especially if you look in Southern California, there's the margin of victory is